think that Donald Trump has disqualified himself completely. He has attacked our closest allies. He has said, let's pull out of NATO. He has praised the dictator of North Korea. He's advocated more countries getting nuclear weapons, something that Democratic and Republican presidents alike have worked to prevent for more than 70 years. He has advocated a return to torture, and he has said he wants to ban all Muslims from coming to the United States. This is not just divisive rhetoric, my friends. This is dangerous.
Hillary Clinton blasting Donald Trump at a rally in New Jersey yesterday. There is more coming today because she's going to do a national security briefing speech in San Bernardino. The Democratic frontrunner delivering that speech and saying that basically the attempt to portray Donald Trump as a danger to the world. She says he's a threat to world order, et cetera, et cetera. Let's bring in Eric Trump, Executive Vice President of Development and Acquisitions for the Trump Organization and the son of presidential candidate Donald Trump. So this is the shape of the general election rhetoric. Your dad calls her Crooked Hillary, and you can feel that she's trying to label him as well. Dangerous Donald Trump, loose cannon Donald Trump.
You know, I see that little clip, and I literally cringe. Her foreign policy has literally cost this country trillions of dollars, thousands of lives. My wife and I watched 13 Hours this weekend, right? And I was livid after watching the movie. I think in order to vote in this next election, you should have to watch that movie. I was livid. She left these guys on a rooftop in the middle in Benghazi, you know, getting shot at, having mortars drop on their head because she wouldn't pick up a phone call in the middle of the night. A statement like that is honestly, truly disgusting. She has done no job for our veterans. She has done a total disservice for the country. Her policy is totally disastrous. You know, my father would be an amazing commander-in-chief.
All right. I mean, clearly that's the shape of the debates that we're going to see. You can almost start to see the two of them standing on stage together, and your dad making the argument that you are making right there. Let's talk also about this question of a pivot. You know, because a lot of people look at your father over the course of the last week or 10 days, the lashing out at the press, the going after the judge, and they say, you know, where is this change that was promised in terms of behavior and temperament? Do you ever say to him, time to dial it back a little bit on some of this stuff?
Well, not really. In fact, I think the lashing out of the press in that case is warranted, and quite frankly, it wasn't you guys, but there was plenty of others. I mean, my father raised $6 million for veterans. Hillary and Bill in the last 5 years have donated $70,000, right? He raised $6 million, including $1 million of his own money that he gave just on a whim. Let's do something great for a cause that I care a lot about. And the press hammered him. I actually said to him one day, I go, you know, it's kind of amazing. It's no good deed goes unpunished. And, you know, my father finally said, listen, you know, I'm going to go out and I'm going to say something because I'm not being treated fairly about this. I mean, I did a good deed. I did a very philanthropic thing, and I'm getting killed.
So. Trump is a private conglomerate, sure, right? And, you know, there have to have been times when the company thought about going public, right? But there's a difference between being a private company and being a public company. And in a sense, this transition for the business and for your father is almost like going public. You get to a point where you have to answer questions. You have fiduciary responsibilities, essentially, to the voters now. Is that a difficult transition for your father?
Well, I mean, look how many press conferences Hillary Clinton's had in the last year. She's had zero. She said zero. She hasn't had a single press conference in 2016. My father's out there every single day. I'm out there every single day. I'm with you all the time. I mean, there's no more transparent people in the world than us. We're probably the easiest people in the world to get to, meaning, you know,
well, there's back and forth, that's for sure.
From the press. I mean, he's been asked more hard questions probably than any presidential candidate ever because he's very open to talking to the media. I mean, it's been so much of his platform.
I want to show you something that came out this morning from Quinnipiac, and it has to do with promises made and kept. And basically, voters say that they do not believe that Hillary Clinton will rein in Wall Street. And when it comes to the question of building a wall and having Mexico pay for it, you see the numbers. Yes, we'll try and fail 39%, won't even try 29%. Will he follow through with the promise to build the wall and have Mexico pay for it?
Yeah, there's no question. I mean, it's something that he believes in. First of all, he's a great builder. He's a man who's an incredible builder. Like, you know, the wall on the southern border isn't exactly a tough structure for us to build as developers, and, you know, this is what we do every day. Second of all, it's something that he truly believes in at this core, right? You need to know who's in your country. You need to know who's here, and people have to be here legally.
So it's something that he would start the process on day one?
Yeah, absolutely.
You believe that?
Oh, absolutely.
All right, let's take a look at something else. This is a quote from somebody who worked for Trump University. I know this is a legal matter, and it's being handled in the courts, but in terms of a political matter, take a look at this quote, because I guarantee you, you are going to see and hear this on Hillary Clinton commercials going forward. I believe Trump University was a fraudulent scheme and that it preyed upon the elderly and uneducated to separate them from their money. This comes from a person who worked for Trump University.
You know, Trump University had a 98% approval rating. 98%, meaning, you know, at the end of taking the courses, people, you know, graded the university and they wrote a little report card about it. The 98% approval rating. We actually posted that on the website. So you have people who come back, it's buyer's remorse, it's whatever it is. You have people that come back, you know, after grading it, an A+. I loved it. I learned so much for it. I brought this into my own personal life. It helped me develop as a person. It helped me start my first business, et cetera, et cetera. And then they come back and say that. So, you know, I think we're going to win that case. I know we're going to win that case. You know, we have every single one of those report cards, and it just undermines quotes like that. I mean, the university did a great job. It did a great thing. It was highly respected.
The good outweighs the bad, essentially. That anytime you have a business, you're going to have some customers and even some employees who are disgruntled or dissatisfied.
There's probably people that go to Harvard and say, listen, I went to Harvard, I got a great education, I can't find a job, or, you know, I didn't become the success that I could have been. Sure, I mean, you probably have that at every major university, right, around the world. Trump University had a 98% approval rating, and I think that wins the day.
In terms of the punching back and the pivot that we just talked about, the lashing out, you know, do you think that we're going to start to see a change in that? Your father basically looked at the press and said, no, this is exactly what you're going to get when I'm president as well.
Yeah, he's a fighter. Listen, he's a fighter. If he thinks there's an injustice, he's going to come out and he's going to say it. He's not going to hide behind the, you know, behind the covers. I mean, he's a fighter. He thought
and you listen to those people and you watch the columnists and all of that who say, look, it's going to fail. But it's not going to work in a general election.
These were the same columnists who also said that he had no chance of winning and that he had 0% chance of being the nominee and he's going to drop out tomorrow and he's never going to run for president to begin with. I mean, what has the columnists gone? I mean, every single one of them have been wrong every step of the way. Maybe he should continue to execute his game plan because he's done just fine with his own set of rules.
Because you have a lot of involvement in the golf courses, we got to go. But quick question: the PGA moving that tournament away from Trump Doral to Mexico. Quick thought on that.
Well, listen, it's a shame. I think it plays into my father's, you know, whole narrative, right? I mean, just jobs lost in the United States going down to Mexico. I mean, here's a tournament that, you know, contributed hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars to South Florida, and it's, you know, it's very sad. At the same time, there's a very big sponsor in Mexico. They wanted to bring the World Golf Championship out of the U.S. somewhere, and so it had to go. But it's sad to see more jobs, more money, you know, something that people have enjoyed for a very long time, leave this country.
Good to see you, Eric.
Yeah,
Thanks for coming by. We'll see you soon.